Hi, welcome to day 14 of me sharing my personal practice with you. This is a 75-day challenge, and within the first fourth, one fourth of the challenge, I've already fallen off the wagon thrice. So, this is my third time picking up myself and getting myself back into recording the practice. I have been engaging in personal practice, but not like the challenge is that I record myself and share my practice with you, and I've been falling off. How long do you think before I fall off the wagon again? I don't know. Anyway, let's begin. So today I did my meditation before I started the practice, and I do engage in intention setting for the practice. And if you have been following me, you might know that the idea behind doing this is learning for me to learn to articulate that which the ability of movement to a movement practice to hold you. A movement practice is not just about physical fitness. It's an overall fitness. It's body fitness is not just this physical self. When I say body, for myself, when I say body, it just cuts through everything. It is not just my physical body, it's my emotional body, spiritual body, and everything is connected. And you have the ability to hold all layers of yourself at all time. And even during your practice, even during your movement practice, which is something that is accessible to all of us. And I just feel like we are doing Gora Ahimsa, like injustice to ourselves by not allowing ourselves to tap into all those layers. So here we go. Today, I feel like I want to begin with this. And so I was talking about, I did my meditation before this, and I have been open about this space being like, and while I do that, I'm pressing my legs into each other and allowing my muscles of the legs to get activated from the toes all the way to the hip. So I have been open about how this phase of my life is quite stressful, and I'm using, I have been using my practice to ground myself, to hold myself, to inform me, not just make me feel good, but to inform me what's happening within me and how I gather those feelings, how I gather whatever information is coming, and how I move with it. So it's informing me about not just holding myself, but also moving with it. Where do I go from here? What do I do? I'm going to go as far as saying that it's supporting me in taking decisions. It's supporting my state of mind as I take decisions. It's supporting me in processing information that is coming to me from within me and from outside of me. So, in my meditation, I came across my anxiety, and that connected me to a memory. That connected me. You might have noticed I changed legs. That connected me to a memory that might have been defining. I don't know, but that's the memory that wanted to show itself today. suddenly I have this anxiety that the video is not being recorded. It is being recorded, sorry. So uh, that memory was about, without going into the details of the memory, but that memory was about, is connected to the anxiety of not doing well enough. And if I don't do well enough, I'm going to put myself in situations that I don't want to be, in situations that are not associated with moving up in life. And I'm sure there might have been other messaging also coming to me in my childhood, but this one, for some reason, stood out. And this is something that keeps coming back to me again and again. And I'm like, oh my God, am I really? So I was told that if you don't do this, you're going to end up like that. And have I actually ended up like that? It's scary. And the reality is that the anxiety and the feeling associated with how that information was passed to me is not mine. It just became mine at the moment that when I received that information from someone who I trust and look up to. And I feel like maybe I noticed how I was always not able to be up to that mark. And because of that feeling of not being up to that mark, not reaching that, I guess I have this anxiety of failing. Absolutely doing a hack job at explaining because I want to talk about it without talking about uh, the situation itself. Um, it's not, I wish I could ask myself simple questions like, where does that anxiety live? Where in my body does it live? It does live in my body. Does it live in a particular spot? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it lives in a particular spot in my body. But going back to that meditation, towards the end of the meditation, I was like, it's not completely true. Whatever was, however, I'm associating with whatever was said to me when I was younger, it's not true. I can't be held hostage to that. It's stopping me from seeing things about myself that are more me, that are more present in the now. So much of life has happened since then. I cannot be stuck in that moment. So how? What does that part of me need to hear? What is coming in the way for me to see the truth of the moment? Because the truth of my moment was never really seen or acknowledged or validated. So, since I haven't had that experience, it's hard for me and hard for anyone to self validate because we need the other to see ourselves. I mean, that even lies in the concept of Shiva Shakti, the source. We need the other. Wow. We need the other. The other doesn't have to be another person, but I need another to see myself in a way that I can believe. I need resonance. I need resonance, the one that is keeping on going and keeping on trying, the one that is uh, able to right now hold and talk about the anxiety. There is one that believes that if I keep doing that something that I know, if I keep going, it will work out. If I keep following my truth and my intuition, how can I stay with my truth and intuition for longer? How can I be able to sustain in that? Yeah, it comes back to seeing myself. Uh, it's coming back to seeing myself as I am. I mean, appreciating myself, loving myself. Yeah, all that is later, later additions and embellishments, but purely just seeing myself. I definitely feel like I'm on to something, but at the same time, I have this thing that, oh, I'm not, I'm just so, no, I'm just so inarticulate. I'm not going to get my point across. Why is it so important for me to get my point across? And the breath is here to save the day. Excuse me, still recovering. cannot breathe through my nose, so I'm exhaling through the mouth. Today is the day where we're going to stay with it and allow the revelation, allow the opening, allow the deepening, not by doing, but just by staying and believing and trusting. Oh, where does belief reside? Some people, I think, call it hope. What are we without hope? What are we without belief? How would we even be able to take any step forward? Because the truth is that we don't know what's going to happen in the next moment. And if we didn't have the experience of belief holding us, how would we even move forward? How would we keep going? Where does that come from? Belief. We are born into this world so vulnerable with 100% faith that we'll be taken care of. We are such demanding little creatures, then, right? That faith that if we cry, someone is going to come and grab us and feed us. And when that belief is met, there you go. That action becomes set. If I cry, I'm going to get food. What happens when you cry and you don't get food? What happens when you feel you're going to die? You find a way to stop asking. Hmm. Until it comes to you. You know how that can be both like good and bad, depending on the context. How do you learn to use different experiences and abilities within a context? How do you learn to assess a context? Mm. There are times when I'll have to hold myself and allow whatever I need to arrive. There are times when I'll have to work quietly, get where I want to, get where I need to, get what I deserve. And there are times when I'll have to cry out loud, when I have to demand. How do I have access to all the multiple abilities and also be able to assess the situation? Access, assess. It's through information, right? The more information you have, you think you'll be able to assess better. But the more processing you'll have to do. Uh, An average human doesn't have that capacity to process everything. I mean, a yogi probably does. Yogi from the past. I don't know about the yogis today. I believe those stories from the past where a yogi did enough sadhana and meditation and had the ability to access and process information, that fine ability. But an average human, he needs to have he needs to have faith, belief to keep going that it'll all work out. And what happens when that belief gets co-opted for the gain of certain groups of people? Thinking how how does it come back to me and where I started holding of my anxiety. That sort of anxiety that make my thoughts go that I know right now is not helpful. waking up with how do I how do I streamline that energy and pour it into more fruit giving and creative endeavors? How do I pour it into the nourishment that my um how do I use that as nourishment or for the project I know, even though I don't know where it's going, but I have belief that if I keep following that, it's going to bear its fruits. I just have to keep going with it. It looks different from anything that I've done before. It looks different from most things that people do. How do I? And this is the thing, like I believe this embodiment, which means acting out the when I act out, I am validating myself, I'm seeing myself. I believe this being as a mode of therapizing, a mode of therapy. That's why I believe in body-based therapies and dance movement therapy. And this will give me insight that these words are not going to do justice to. I'm going to go as close as possible to the experience with words. In time, I may learn how to use words effectively, but that insight is your experience, the body's experience, which only you will know and you should know. Only you should know. Oh, wow. I don't know if you stayed with me all through. If you did, wow. Like, let me know in the comments if you watched the whole thing, because I don't think anyone's watching the whole thing. Let me know what do you think? What came up for you? Oh, oh, oh.